Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Barakahakwadash, Barakatum. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, glory, and infinite honors to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai. Double honors to the apostles and elders, a great millstone who rule and teach well. In peace and salutations to you, sincere Akim out there, pushing this word in truth and sincerity to the four corners of the globe. May you brothers endure until the end. This is the brother Ra'aya coming at you with another lesson, and I'm going to start it off with Jeremiah chapter 10, verse 23. O Yahweh, I know that the way of man is not in himself. It is not in man that walketh to direct his steps. And contrary to popular belief, there is no free will out here. The Lord, controls everything from your thoughts to your actions, what you're going to do tomorrow, what you did yesterday, etc., etc. We're just actors in the Most High's film. And I opened up the video with this verse to preface this clip from Be Inspired's YouTube channel titled, Scientists Just Proved the Past Can Change. And I'm going to play a few minutes here and there in this video, but pretty much what they're saying is, look, people have, deja vu. They see things in their dreams, and then, the next day, a week, a month, a year later, those things happen. And they're making the case that, it's your future self sending thoughts and actions back to your past self. But as we just started in Jeremiah 10 and 23, it's Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh Shai that controls everything, that seals your thoughts, so that you're, prepared to do what the Most High, wants you to do. But this is a fair use copyright disclaimer. I do not own any of the footage in this clip, nor do I stand to gain from it monetarily. It is simply for educational purposes.
They took a laser beam and they put it through a beam splitter. So you have the same beam, but then it's split into two. Now then what they did was they weakly measured the photons in both beams. And then they subjected one of the beams to a strong measurement, if you want to put it that way. And what they discovered was that back in time when they were weakly measured, the photons that got the later strong measurement had been amplified significantly. So that later measurement amplified the photons in their past. But it means that events in the future at time point B somehow affect things at time point A in the past.
In other words, a future event altered something that had already happened. This isn't speculation. Experiments suggest it's happening all the time. Psychologists studying precognition found something strange. In controlled lab tests, people's bodies reacted to emotional events before they happened.
The person sits in front of a monitor and is shown a series of photographs, not asked to do anything except look at the pictures. And the person is wired up to have the physiology measured. First ones were electrodermal response. Now it's been done with fMRIs, with pupil dilation, with heart rate. They all sort of have the same effect. So what you do is you just watch, and the computer randomly selects a set of photographs to show you, and most of them are calm, neutral pictures, and every once in a while there's an arousing picture, a negatively arousing one in this case. So the results is that the physiology of the participant shows higher arousal, not just when the picture appears, which you would expect, but a few seconds before the computer shows the arousing pictures, that is the negative pictures or the erotic pictures, even before the computer decides which picture to show.
It's called presentiment, and it suggests our subconscious mind may be picking up signals from the future before our conscious mind realizes it. But this doesn't just happen in the lab. Many people experience precognitive dreams, where details from the dreams match real-life events that happen days, weeks, or even years later. Eric Wargo believes that these...
And this is just another example of Esau's so-called science catching up to the scriptures, because, what they're going into in this video, about how, you'll have a dream about an event, and then that event happens later on down the line. Hey, that just goes to show that there is no free will. You've been given a glimpse of what the Most High has prepared for you to do the next day, a week down the line, a month, a year later. This is Job chapter 33. I'm going to read verses 14 to 18. For the Most High speaketh once, yea, twice, yet man perceiveth it not. In a dream, in a vision of the night, when deep sleep falleth upon men, and slumberings upon the bed, when you're asleep, then he openeth the ears of men, and sealeth their instruction, point blank period. When you go to sleep, the Most High is, putting, think about it like a computer. You put a program in a computer so that it can enact, particular commands. Well, you're a computer, and the Most High is putting that program in you when you're asleep, so that when the next day comes, you enact what the Most High, programmed you to do. That he may withdraweth man from his purpose and hide pride from man. You may think, oh, tomorrow I'm go to the park and throw a football or something like that. And you might have it all perfectly planned out in your mind, but tomorrow comes, you're driving to the park and getting a car wreck, so that completely changes your day. That's the Most High, sanctioning for you to get in a car wreck for whatever his purpose is. And, we tell people all the time, when they come up, to the block when we're out preaching, you were going about your daily life. You may have been going on a date or going to buy food or whatever, but you came across the camp, and hey, that was the Lord's will that you came across the camp. He sealed your instructions to do so. He keepeth back his soul from the pit and his life from perishing by the sword. Most High perfectly setting up everything. If you're, and I'm trying not to ramble too much, but just giving you some examples. Say, you were going to a restaurant and you get caught up in traffic, and you're 30 minutes late to the restaurant, but you find out that there was a shooting at the restaurant, and if you would have gotten there on time, you would have been involved in it. And then vice versa, when judgment goes out for you to go back to the spirit world, the Most High will set it up to where those death angels take you out. But again, Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh Shai is in control of everything. And sometimes you have dreams that, give you a glimpse into the future, deja vu.
These dreams aren't coincidences, they're messages from your future self. The problem? We usually don't notice them until it's too late. But what if you could learn to recognize them? What if your dreams could help you predict your own future? And that's exactly what we're about to explore, because the more you
which is not the case. Even though you may have an instance of deja vu where you see something happening, you only remember that deja vu when you're in that situation. The Most High has already sealed everything to take place, and no man can do anything to change it. This is Proverbs chapter 16. I'm going to read verse 1, and then I'm going to jump down to verse 9. The preparations of the heart or your mind in man, and the answer of the tongue is from Yahweh. So your thoughts, your speech, it all comes from Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh Shai. He's the puppet master, and we're just the puppets. Verse 9, a man's heart deviseth his way, but Yahweh directeth his steps. By sealing his instructions, while he's asleep, and then the next day, he may have his mind made up to do one thing, but ultimately it's Yahweh that directs his steps towards the path that the Lord wants him to go.
Understand precognition, the more you'll realize time doesn't work the way we think it does.
The thing that I want to emphasize is that from our work at SRI and the work at Princeton, most psychical researchers are now convinced that precognition is as strong and reliable a phenomenon as remote viewing into the distance. Your waking brain and your sleeping brain are entangled the same way as the brains of the twins. That's my going in hypothesis now.
One's brain in the present and one's brain at some future time. It makes sense that they would be entangled.
Many people report dreaming of events before they happen, sometimes in striking detail. A conversation, a location, even a major world event. Days, Weeks or even years later, they find themselves living out a moment that already played out in their minds. But how is this possible? Eric Wargo suggests that dreams are a form of communication across time, your future self sending information backward. The problem is we don't recognize it when it happens. Dreams often feel strange and symbolic, not literal. But when we look back, we see connections that weren't obvious at the time. And this is where it gets even more fascinating. Psychologists studying dream patterns have.
And hey, it's not your future self sending those thoughts to the past. It's Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai sealing your instructions for what you're going to do in the future. But now I'm going to jump to the 9-minute and 20-second mark.
Events before they happen.
Most of the time, it's your own self. It's your future self. You are tapping into things that are going to happen in your future, and that's where your best ideas are coming from. They're coming from your future.
Some researchers believe that our brains constantly process data from both past and future experiences. We just don't recognize the future ones until later. This would explain why so many inventors, writers, and scientists have reported receiving ideas in dreams or sudden bursts of inspiration as if the answer was already known, just waiting to be noticed. But if some of our thoughts came from
and the answer was already known by Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai, he just put it in that individual's mind to enact it. You know, Esau, or the so-called white man, thinks he's done everything on his own, creating this technology and this society of his. But it was Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai that put those thoughts on these scientists and inventors to build this, society we currently live in. And, to build those nuclear weapons, which are going to be the end of Esau's rulership, all to fulfill the will and prophecy of Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai. That's it with that video. I'm close it out in Proverbs 21:1. The king's heart, or mind, your lahab, the king's heart is in the hand of Yahweh. As the rivers of water, he turneth it whithersoever he will. Point blank, period. Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai is control of everything, and there is no free will. The only will you have is to follow the will of the Heavenly Father. But that's it with this video. With this video, I hope you sincere Akim and Akwath were edified. Just keep strong. We are almost out of this final wicked captivity of Esau Edoms. And as always, I'm going to say Abad Babol, Kwam Yasharallah, and until next time, Shalom.